Hey, Kris.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing good. I've
Good.
got a mug that says heck yes
Yes, you do.
that we're going to drink out of today, or that I'm going to drink out of. I bought this really nice mug set for us, and I just keep forgetting to bring it. So you've got yours.
I've got mine.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I'm drinking out of a coffee mug right now. It's going to be great.
It works.
All right, so tell us the story. What are we drinking?
Okay, so this is from my friends David and Wayne at Flare Data.
Flare Data.
Been working with those guys for at least 13 years, if not closer to 15.
Wow.
They had invited us to an event in January, but it was pretty much a drinking event. And it was like, sorry, guys, I really can't attend that as a Pine Cove employee.
Not as an employee, but I could attend that if I wasn't an employee.
Correct. So met with them earlier this week, and they were like, hey, we felt bad that you couldn't make it. Let us give you this instead. And I'm like, well, I will gladly accept that 64-ounce bottle of beer. So they got this at Pint and Barrel in Palestine.
Okay.
It is filled with Founders Solid Gold Premium Lager.
So it's not, they got it from Pint and Barrel.
Correct.
But it's not one of Pint and Barrel's.
No.
Does Pint and Barrel make beer?
As best I can tell on their site, no. They just have existing beers on tap.
But it is Founders.
It is Founders.
And we like Founders.
Yes, love the breakfast stout.
Although we have not had this.
Not this, but I'm also, I'm a self-admitted beer snob. If it's not dark beer, I don't like it.
Paler.
But hey, when you get free beer,
you drink the free beer.
Say, thank you very much. I'll drink it.
I mean, we say that, but also you brought a backup.
Just in case.
Just in case.
You never know. Although I do have a track record on the show of just powering through anyways.
Yeah, you do.
So
I mean, of some really questionable. What is going on?
Here we go. So, but I do have their blur pulled up off their site since we don't have actual bottle to read off of.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, our brewery was built on an attitude of no regrets.
No regrets?
That's what came to mind the first time I read it.
Not even one letter?
No. An attitude of taking risks, bringing the best beer possible to our fellow renegades and rebels.
Okay.
Never brewing to style, but always brewing what we want to drink. Our take on a classic, Solid Gold, is a drinkable premium lager. I'm glad it's drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
Brewed with the highest quality ingredients, changing what a lager can be. That's something we won't regret.
Regret. I don't think AI wrote that or anything, but the fact that they use drinkable as I don't know.
Well, I'm going to take it that there's kind of a dig at other places and saying that, hey, your beer is not even drinkable.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
So shot over the bow.
Shot over the bow. Hey, we actually have drinkable beer.
Yes. And so their tasting notes say crisp notes of cereal grain and a hint of lemon with a light body and low bitterness.
Okay.
It's 4.4%, and it is a 20 on the IBU, so it is pretty low on the bitter.
Mm-hmm. I'm all for low on the bitter, but light on the body. I mean, this may be what I call a lawn work beer.
Lawn work beer.
If I've been sweating and I'm going to drink a beer, it's probably not going to be a dark one.
No, probably not.
So maybe it's one of those.
All right.
It's like the Gatorade of beers.
It might look like Gatorade.
Okay, let's hopefully not.
Well,
will. We're about to see a color for the first time here.
I'll make my pour and then I'll just pass you the rest of the bottle.
Thanks, man.
Because you'll need it to keep that cup full.
I'm just gonna have to keep refilling it over here because
it
is not the same.
All right.
Oh no. That is very blonde, Kris. Are you okay?
I'm going to power through it.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You are going to power through it. It just keeps coming.
I'm just, I want to make sure that I get my half. You get your half.
You get my half and your half. 32 ounces.
Yeah, it's only 4.4 though. All right.
I like it. I'm taking a picture of mine.
I'm going to pass this small jug to you.
It's okay. I got it by the handle the way you're supposed to. I should drink it out of this instead of using my heck yes mug. I just sit over here.
Look like an old moonshiner.
Like a moonshiner.
Yeah.
I mean, I love these old 64 ounce whatever you call them. Not tumblers. What
Growler.
is it? Growler. Thank
Yeah.
you. You said it a second ago. I just couldn't come up with it while I was trying not to pour the beer on my pants. Okay.
I'm psyching myself up for this.
It's going to be great. Just think I am super hot and sweaty, and I'm just trying to get some electrolytes in my body. That's what you need to think.
All right.
Hey, cheers. I'm sorry, Kris. Okay, so here's the thing. If you are into paler beers,
yeah,
I need you to know that this is the equivalent of, in my mind, people that make fun of me for not being a real coffee drinker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like doubly not a real coffee drinker because not only do I have milk in my coffee,
okay,
which is what my grandmother always used to say, if you put milk in your coffee, you're not a real coffee drinker.
Okay.
But not only am I not a real coffee drinker because I put milk in my coffee, I put chocolate in that milk that goes in my coffee.
Yeah.
So that's really the only kind of coffee that I like. This to me is like that, where it's like it's like it tastes more like beers that are this light to me, and I don't mean like calories because it's not a light beer, is it?
They don't say it is.
Please tell me it's not a light beer. So the lighter colored beers generally, to me, just don't taste like anything. It's like those sparkling waters that are all like the rage now, and people will be like, "Oh, it's got lime in it." And it's like, yeah, not very much. It's not like it's Sprite.
I'm finding it hard to believe that that's a 20 on the IBU.
Is it bitter to you?
Because to me, there was way more bitter there than I expected.
Okay, the reason that I think that you've got that on your tongue is because there's not much other flavor.
Perhaps
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not really anything to it. It's more like water than it's like anything else. That's a personal opinion. Take it for what it is. Are you going to power through?
I'm going to power through. It's not horrible. I mean, it's you've got to really be bad to be worse than old Rasputin.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
Horrible. And I will say, real quick, if you heard the last show, the beer selection was a little rough.
Yeah. We're on a streak right now.
Yeah, we are.
I don't know what the deal
so
is.
So this is a step up from those.
Yeah, sure.
But what I will say for those beers, they actually made us talk about the beer.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I've been saying that we need to do more of on the show.
Yeah.
We need to talk a little more on the front end about the beer because it's pretty much a drink. Oh, that's great. All right, what are we talking about?
Yeah, and I would say like beer, I think for us, you talked about being a snob.
Yes, I am.
I'll call that knowing what you like. Because there are people out there that love this stuff. Like, this is beer to them. They're like, this is amazing. I mean, there are people that like IPAs, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with you, but
brain damage.
They intentionally made it not good so that it could survive going around the Horn of Africa.
Yes.
Because if they didn't, it wouldn't travel the distance. So they made it not good. Like it's not supposed to taste like that. It's supposed to be in a boat for another
couple of months
and gross.
Yeah.
But people like it. And I'm like, I don't know. Okay.
All I can say is brain damage.
Whatever you say, man. But like, I mean, this is the kind of beer that I started drinking. When I first started drinking beer, there was not much taste to it. Sure. You had to put a lime in it sometimes.
Yeah, I couldn't touch Guinness at that point when I started. It was too much.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. But it's that like, oh, no, like there's a taste here that you don't realize. And, you know, you get bit like I did. I don't remember the first dark beer that I drank, but it's like it just was a little bit gross. Mm-hmm. It was not Guinness. But it made me like, oh no, I don't like dark beers. I'm like, yeah, you do. You just don't.
You don't know it yet.
You don't know it yet.
Yeah.
And I would say like there's lighter beers, like lighter lagers. I like reds, or some reds. Yeah. There have been some lighter lagers that I felt like have had plenty of taste to them. This is not one of them.
Yeah,
this is a little natty light for me, if you know what I'm saying.
It's been a long time since I've had a natty light.
I'm just saying, like,
and I feel like you're disrespecting the natty light.
I'm not disrespecting the natty light. I'm just saying there are beers that are supposed to be drank really cold.
Sure, natty is one of them,
and natty is one of them. Yes. I think probably, and this is cold. Like, good job keeping everything cold, Kris. Cheers to you. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's supposed to be maybe sub 32 degrees.
Yeah, that's the key with natty. When you can get it to where the ice chips are starting to form, boy, it just takes on a whole nother level.
Man, any beer that has there's like one of the flavors, and especially it's definitely more prevalent in this type of beer to me. It tastes like soap. That's the best way. Like Dawn dish soap. There's a little, like, I don't know what that is. Yeah. That causes that, but every once in a while when I'm drinking these beers, I'm like, did they just clean this cup?
Well, they talk about a hint of lemon.
I mean, maybe citrusy, like,
I guess
there's a bite.
A little bit. And as I've taken a few more drinks, it's like the bitter has started, that I was detecting, has started to fade. But it was really bitter, like on the side of my tongue.
Yeah.
That first couple of drinks.
I definitely feel like it should be higher in alcohol content so that, we get through this faster. Anyway.
4.4 just means you can drink that many more ounces.
Yeah. Send us a, couple bucks and tell us what you think about beer and what you prefer. Because if you're one of those IPA guys, we're probably going to make fun of you. But there's a lot of them.
There are a lot out there.
Doesn't mean they can't be wrong.
You go to Fresh and it seems like that's all you see.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. It's like, yuck.
Yep.
But that's why we're friends. That's not why we're friends.
Yeah.
Speaking of friends, I wanted to take this show and kind of talk a little bit about technology bringing us together.
Okay.
Not just us, but people, right? So one of the, like, we're obviously bought into this. We are podcasting, right?
Yeah,
and
yes.
If nothing else, I think we talked about this to begin with. If nothing else, this is an opportunity for me and you to get together. So there's just community building at the very, not community building. It's like community. I almost said management. That's not good either. We're maintaining relationship here.
Yes.
And that's one of the goals is just to be able to get together and talk about things that we are interested in.
Yep.
Beer and gear. Very easy.
Yep.
This is not really a gear as much podcast in today's episode. We're going to talk a little bit about software because podcasts, I think, do a great job of not only going the step beyond, like you and me talking, but we are making it possible for other people to join in that conversation.
Yes.
That's the hope, at least.
Yep.
One of the hopes is that other people would be able to listen to it and be like, I agree, I don't agree. This is part of this. This is, for me, I think it has more to do with this or that, or, wherever the conversation would take us inside of, I prefer this gear. I mean, I'm actually surprised there's not more of that with people just being really excited about sharing their divisive opinions sometimes. But
yeah, I guess for a lot of that, you've got to go to YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody wants video. They want to see it. I get that. Like when we were doing the AudioSigma gear,
Mhm.
it would have been nice for people to be able to see it.
Yeah.
But our way of doing that is chapter art.
Yeah.
And so you can throw up an image of what exactly it is that you're talking about.
And if you don't know what we're talking about with chapter art, it's because you're not using the right podcast.
Yes, you need a podcasting 2.0 app.
Yeah. Find a podcasting 2.0 app.
A modern podcast app.
Modern. Yeah.
Get
I think
away from
we're both using Fountain right now, I think.
I am Podcast Addict.
Oh, Podcast Addict.
Yes.
Okay. I'm on Fountain.
Yep. Fountain's a great app.
Fountain's a great app.
Cross-platform.
Cross-platform. Gotta love that. Like, anyway, again, talking about part of this, we're not talking politics.
No.
We're not talking politics. We're not going to talk politics. That's not what we're going to do in this podcast. But
that's the new show we'll start.
I think that we are all very aware of how divided a lot of opinions are in a lot of different areas.
Yes.
Some people are Apple and some people are not.
The smart people are not.
Okay. I'm saying, here's the thing though. If you only ever hear from the other non-Apple people,
sure,
you miss half of the conversation.
Yeah, you get caught in an echo chamber.
Same for the other side of it.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, like, apply that to whatever political stuff you want. And the point is, I think, inside of all of this different technology allowing different modes of these communication, we just have to be really careful not to allow ourselves to be only echo chambered.
Yeah.
Inside of it, because the algorithm will get you.
Yeah.
Have friends that are saying the things that you don't want to hear. Have friends that are telling you that FaceTime is not as important as you think it is. Blue bubbles are not all that matters.
Blue bubble, green bubble.
Green bubbles are not the enemy. Though sometimes they really mess things up.
I guess technically I still maybe show up as a green bubble.
Oh, not technically. You are definitely a green bubble.
But because of the integration now,
yeah,
I can see when I've sent it to you. I can see when you read it.
Yeah,
I can see when you're typing. So, I mean, some of that iMessage type of interaction is there.
If that's lemon, it's the rind of the lemon. Sorry. Yes. You can see these different things.
Yes.
It's still a green bubble. But you got to be able to listen to the green bubble. I'm just saying.
Sure.
And so, like, all of that being said, there's a couple different, like, things that have been brought up to me lately. The reason that I wanted to talk about this to begin with was actually a guy who was telling me that he was interested in podcast stuff, and I was like, great, let's go talk podcast stuff. And then he's like, actually, I'm kind of moving towards, instead of just doing a podcast, I'm looking at Mighty Networks. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So, you know, when someone says that and it's tech related to me, I go look up what the heck they're talking about.
Check it out.
So, Mighty Networks is a cool platform. They have decided to try to take things a little bit further than I would say, has been. It's not further. That's the wrong word. They've tried to group some things that aren't always grouped together. Most of the time, I really applaud, like, if you've got something that you're good at, stay in that lane.
Yes.
Like, I depend on you to do the thing that I depend on you to do really well, because you do it better than everyone else. I want you to keep doing that. You get all convoluted in trying to do everybody else's job, and then all of a sudden your other stuff is not as good, or you don't pay any attention to the, feedback inside of it, and you think that we know what they want. We'll give them what they want. They just don't know they want it yet.
That sounds like the Apple approach.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Steve Jobs trademark.
Very much so.
But all that to say, so like things like YouTube, they're a video platform, right? This is what they do.
Yep.
Instagram was a photo platform.
Yes.
And then it was like, what we really want to do is to be able to compete with things like YouTube. And then it was like, look out, guys. And then it's like Facebook, all of the things. I'm not saying that you can't expand your, whatever you're doing, but you got to do it with a little more like thought than reaction.
Correct.
What it looks like Mighty is trying to do is they're trying to start with, we're gonna pull in a lot of different things. So they call themselves a community platform. The idea is that it makes it easy for somebody who's making content, not just making content, but like also maybe doing online courses or hosting events of some kind, whether that's teaching or network building, I'm sure, or anything like that. Like that they would have one place that they're trying to bring a community together inside of. Now this gets a little bit strange because as I'm like thinking about it and trying to wrap my head around it, the idea that my friend had that was more like wellness related, where they're trying to get information that they have out about living a healthy lifestyle in a bunch of different not ways, but like aspects of what that means in a healthy lifestyle.
Okay.
There's a lot of things to talk about. And what I like about it is that as a community, you're using a community platform, you're going to bring in people from a lot of different walks of life.
Yes.
Where that like only getting one opinion, not necessarily going to happen. Or only seeing one like form of thought, not as likely. Anyway, so this got me thinking, and I was like, okay, Kris, I know that you are a huge fan of social media.
Let me tell you.
It's like the day social media came out, you were like, finally, all of my prayers have been answered. Aside from seeing Michelle, this is the best day of my life.
Best thing ever.
Best thing ever. All kinds of sarcasm dripping inside of that. But the idea that social media is not our favorite thing, it should not be anybody's like whatever. But how do people like us leverage the technology that we have at our fingertips to be able to collaborate, to be able to share ideas, to be able to bounce questions off of each other, to be able to have like, I ran into something, has anybody else seen this or know of an answer, and actually have any kind of, I guess, structure to that's not, well, I'm going to Google it. And then if I don't get the answer that I want, I'm going to YouTube it.
Yeah.
And I'd always rather talk to my friends than whatever.
Absolutely.
Because I got some really smart friends. Kris and I live in a very underrated community here in Tyler, Texas. There's quite a lot of snobbery that is pointed at us from other places. Number one, we're in Texas, so obviously we ride horses to work and
cowboy hats and the whole nine.
Don't know what a car is.
We don't know this is a sophisticated part of life.
Yes, no, we're not sophisticated at all. And there's an element of that. I was watching Braveheart again the other day.
Yeah, I didn't see that in a while.
Right? So good still. In the he's getting talked behind his back, but in front of him when he's talking to the princess, and her advisor or whatever is talking to her in Latin and doesn't know that he speaks Latin, and he says that he never lies, but he is a savage. And that's that, like, I mean, I feel like that so many times when people talk about Texas. I'm like, I mean, yeah, we are probably the things that you think that we are, but we're also not the things that you think that we are. And we don't necessarily care that you think that.
Correct.
But it does mean that sometimes we get kind of pigeonholed into this, doesn't know what they're talking about side of things. And not only are we in Texas, we're in East Texas, which is...
It's not Dallas.
It's not Dallas. And it's not West Texas.
No, it's not.
Which I just want to say, like,
that's a whole nother animal out there.
West Texas is maybe what you're thinking Texas is. And not you, but like,
well,
people that think of Texas. Like,
I would say
if you're picturing a desert right now, you're picturing West Texas. That's what you're picturing.
As a kid, when my grandparents moved down here, because I'm from Indiana.
You weren't here originally.
No. And so even before my grandparents moved here, you hear Texas, it's instantly cowboys and Indians.
Cowboys and Indians.
And then my grandparents moved down here, and you're on the phone like, are y'all seeing the cactuses? They're like, no.
Not a single one.
No. And I'm like, but you're in Texas. Yeah. Well, then where's the cactus at? Well, it's not like that in this part of Texas.
About 7 hours that way.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean... I totally get that outside perspective that people have of Texas of thinking one thing, and we happen to be a part of Texas that just is not that. But you go out past Fort Worth, get an hour or so out, there's the Texas that people are thinking of.
Like, oh yeah, and I'm still, I don't know, 10 hours away from El Paso.
Yes.
And this is going to look like this for a while.
Yes.
I'm just saying, Big Bend is really pretty, but there's nothing to look at when you're driving out that way.
Correct.
I totally get that. There's a whole lot of Texas that's not that.
Yep.
And I would say for those of you that are mad at us about other things, there's a whole lot of Texas that's not that either.
Correct.
And maybe there's a lot of Texas that is what you're thinking, so I don't care. But... all that to say, I've got really smart friends, and I would like to ask them, because even if they don't have the answer, I'm pretty sure they can find the answer. So, like, there's the like, I want to be able to leverage the technology that we have and the tools that are at our disposal to be able to actually build community. And I'm not necessarily saying that it has to be the people around me that live here or anything like that. But if I could just not have it be everyone, that'd be great.
Sure.
Enter Mastodon.
Yeah, I know a little bit about Mastodon.
All right, let's talk about Mastodon.
Okay, yeah.
So
we're gonna be tooting, folks. You know that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You went quiet on me. Like,
I did.
What's he talking about?
I was hoping we could, like, we just talked about Texas and not being, if we could not have the, like, blazing saddles, like.
Where the white women at?
Oh, movies that you can't make anymore. Oh man. Anyway, so their tagline on their the top tagline or whatever on their joinmastodon.org website is social networking that's not for sale.
Yes.
The idea, though, is less about, I guess, not having ads. Well, maybe it is. Mostly that's where they started. I don't actually know the story here. But what is appealing to this, to me, inside of this, is the idea that you can create a server for your particular community.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mastodon is what old school Twitter was.
Yes. Old school Twitter.
It was literally just, it rolled on past, and if you missed it, you missed it. There wasn't all this curation, and there's not, Mastodon doesn't have algorithm. to feed the things to you. I mean, it's literally just this giant river of posts. And if you missed it, you missed it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I was on Mastodon for a little while for the No Agenda podcast. They had their own instance. And so that was a whole community built around that podcast.
Right.
Then they got some bad apples in the mix.
Uh-oh.
And it kind of disbanded. And then that was kind of my last stint of anything social media. And that was probably 2 or 3 years ago now.
Just saying, Kris.
But you can stand up your own, to your point, you can literally run this on some computer at home.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be anything special.
No.
Or there are companies who will run it for you in their cloud.
Yeah, host it.
Yep. And it's a good platform.
So it's that like the idea of creating a space and being able to like kind of fly under the radar with what's going on. What do we say about one of the things that's been fun, you know, because we've talked Windows and Apple for a long time now. One of the things that I remember from early on in our conversations was the idea that innovation always drives more innovation.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's always that competition is going to drive innovation. The idea that one person being able to tweak something and make something new or whatever is going to explode ideas all over the place.
Yep.
And just being able to be in a spot where you can be a little bit freer with that, where you can have ideas or you can have questions and not having to worry about it. Like we are all trying to belong as human beings in all these different aspects. We have our identity, who we, you know, have found ourselves to be or been told that we are. And then we have, you know, our peers, the group of people that we belong with. And then we have our heroes, and those are the people that we try to attain to, that we want to be one of, you know, that type of thing. And I think having more of these opportunities is not reinventing the wheel. Like, you know, social media is what it is. But I don't know about you, but it just like sucks the life out of me.
Yeah, human beings were not made for social media.
It doesn't seem like it.
No, we don't work that way. We've never had this level of communication amongst ourselves,
right,
for essentially all the existence of mankind.
No. Yeah.
And so now you're getting blasted by everybody from everywhere. Now anybody can say anything they want, how they want, whenever they want.
Right.
And people are going to be more brash and bold,
right,
to speak up on social media than they would ever be face to face.
Oh gosh, no.
So it really brings out some of the worst parts of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the impact that it has on kids, especially young girls.
Yeah.
And all they're seeing is this perfection. Well, I don't have that in my life. Why? What's wrong with me?
Right.
I don't look like that. What's wrong with me? You know, and there's even grown people who, once they get into social media, they still have some of those very same struggles and challenges.
Oh,
you just can't. They just can't separate it.
It is like the number of times that Lori talks about, that my wife talks about you know, that she's not being a good mother, or she's not, you know, being a good wife or something like that. I'm like, where are you getting that? And it is all about comparison.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that you wouldn't like compare yourself to each other in any community. But when you're talking like all of the women in all of the world and you're only seeing the curated part of their lives, like that's not healthy.
No, very, very few people actually put the real thing on social media.
Yeah. And then also it's either like they're showing you their best day or their worst day.
Yeah.
And the worst days, mean that you've got, empathy fatigue all the time because you're bearing everyone's tragedies all the time as well.
Yep.
And that's been hard for me lately to try to deal with, is just the idea that like I cannot. It's not that I'm heartless, because I know that I care very deeply for, a lot.
Yeah.
But like the number of times that I cannot catch my breath because I go from one death or severe chronic illness to another, to another, and it's just not a good situation. It makes it hard to still feel actual grief for the person who's right in front of you. I get home, my son's having a bad day, I don't want to hear about it.
Sure, yeah.
Why are you having don't have a bad day. I've got to carry everybody else's bad day.
Yep.
You're not allowed to have a bad day.
Yep.
Let me tell you what, my son should be allowed to have a bad day with his daddy.
Yeah.
And it's that type of thing, like you and me being able to sit here and talk about what that actually looks like. That's the community I want.
Sure, yeah.
So there's the idea of do you limit community by only limiting or only having it around part of the time, like we do a show every 2 weeks. I'd like to talk more often.
Yeah.
So the timing of it has been more just life getting busy for, your life has been busy.
Sure.
My life is getting busier right now, and then someday we'll ship our kids off to college too. But what I guess what handcuffs do you put on the technology in order to actually create real community instead of just fake community, which is what most social media looks like?
Yeah, that's tough because you're just talking about the basic human nature and how do you restrict that?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how you put guardrails on that for the general, I know what I've done for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's been no social media.
Yeah.
Garrett didn't get social media until he was 19 years old. And even now, there's still some times when we're like, hold up, pump the brakes there. And I've got a 15-year-old daughter who's like, well, why can't I have Instagram and TikTok? Everybody else has it. I'm like, yeah. And without being too rude, look at how they're doing.
Yeah. Hey, their parents don't love them.
Yes.
That was rude. Sorry.
Yes. So yeah, it's just one of the things and even with my wife, there are times that I have to tell her, you really need to turn that off. And she's only on Facebook. She's not into all the others, but there are just times that it's just kind of like, okay, you need to turn that off. You need a digital detox because you're just consuming too much junk.
Mm-hmm.
And it's impacting you, and we need to step away. So, but in terms of putting barriers and controls on that's tough to do with the general public. You could have somebody who is essentially the policeman. If we had our own Mastodon instance, you could have a moderator on there who's trying to keep things in check and under control and remind people of, hey, this isn't acceptable here, but I don't know that you can honestly control it. It's just the broken nature of man.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that brokenness is pretty unquestioned over here.
Correct.
It's just, it has more to do with the next step, because I don't want to, like when you don't trust media outlets anymore, you just stop watching media outlets.
Yeah.
Okay, but there are things that are happening that don't really get talked about anywhere else other than on media outlets, and I just need a place that tells me what's happening without trying to editorialize it all the time.
Sure.
But it's that type of thing where you're like, okay, so how do I take the good parts of social media without it obviously just turning into Facebook for our people? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely in that category that stopped watching the news media. Probably 2013, 2014 really started to step away. And then by the 2016 election was just completely out of it. Just kind of saw the left was going to go one way, the right was going to go another way. There really was nothing in the middle.
Nope.
And so just kind of cut it out. And I guess to me, the therapy there to keep me sane has been the No Agenda podcast.
Well, there you go.
They do media deconstruction. So they go with whatever's in the media and then pull those stories in and then kind of dig in behind it and try to show, okay, so these guys are slanted this way and these guys are kind of slanted this way. And you're at least getting some knowledge of what's going on in the world without feeling like you're being indoctrinated or propagandized. But then there are just sometimes that, it's just such a wonderful thing to just not listen. Just shut it off. Don't even think about it. The world is mad. Let the world be mad. I'm just going to sit here in my own home with my family, and I'm just going to pretend that there's nothing else going on right now because I just want to turn my brain off.
Yeah.
But I recognize that you can't be an ostrich and just stick your head in the sand and just act like there's nothing going on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can, but I don't know how effective that would be.
Yeah. And then I guess the closest thing that I've seen to trying to help a person stay grounded with the news is, have you heard of Ground News? As I'm saying, being grounded. It's ground.news, and their whole shtick is they try to show you this particular story is left, right, or center.
Okay.
So that you can kind of understand the bent behind a given story. And then you can say, I want to see only what's left. I want to only see what's right. I want to only see what's center. And it kind of gives the individual an ability to kind of cater what you see. And it can help you try to minimize some of that echo chamber.
Yeah. Things like that, though. Like, this is the way to make technology work for you in a way that's not, I feel like, more harmful than it is helpful.
Sure.
Because that's what it seems like social media is now.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, it's all because of the algorithm. The algorithm goes, oh, that gets you fired up. I'm going to give you more of it.
Yeah.
And then TikTok is the opposite. TikTok is going, oh, you like that? I'm going to give you more of that. So now you're getting echo chambered in a completely different way.
Right.
Instead of having something thrown at you that's constantly going to keep you worked up and upset and angry, they're going to pigeonhole you into this one thing. And you're just going to say, like, everybody's like me.
Right.
It's like, no, that's
I only
not
hear
true.
things that tickle my ears.
Correct.
Nothing that I have to struggle with.
That's what makes the Mastodon interesting, again, because there's no algorithm.
Right.
And you can pick any of these instances to be a part of. You can hop around at any time. And you then also have, and I don't recommend people do this, but in your Mastodon instance is the Fedi stream.
Okay.
Which is the live stream from all Mastodon instances that are federated together.
Really?
Yes. For your own insanity, don't go there. Or for your own sanity, I should say.
Yeah,
Not your own insanity. For your own sanity.
If you're looking for your insanity, I found it.
Yes, I found it. Don't go there. And then just the sheer junk that people put out there. It's out there. So if you're going to go to Mastodon, you can typically turn off that tab. Just turn it off. Just don't.
Don't do it.
No, that's just like sticking your head in the sewer pipe and just seeing what comes by.
Oh.
It's bad.
Thank you for that visual.
Yes. Don't drink it.
Dish soap. That's what I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Oh, we both drank at the same time. That's a no-no.
Well, the more I drink of it, it's not so bad.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the nature of beer. I mean, if I just drink a whole lot of this, then all of my senses are dulled. I can't tell what's going on.
Yay.
No.
So.
Oh, what was that show? Steven, one of my friends, Steven, was one of our friends, Steven, was telling me about a show that these guys were, they had found, or there was a scientific discovery or something like this, fictional, obviously, that was talking about the human brain is actually is made to function at a higher alcohol content than optimum level of alcohol content is higher than what we normally think of. And, they all just try to maintain this certain level of blood alcohol, whatever, they're trying to live like this. Right.
Wow.
And it's like, well, this guy who's, depressive or whatever is having a much better time. And this guy is, really creative where he didn't used to be, and, all this stuff. And of course, the moviness of it is that it gets out of hand and all the consequences and life.
I was going to say, it sounds like they're trying to become functional drunks.
Right, exactly. I was like, there's a word for this. I don't know if you know it, Stephen, but
yes.
But it was, yeah. Sorry, that reminded me of that for some reason. Wish I knew the name of it. Where are your friends if I was on Mastodon with him right now, I could just text him. Anyway, that's what we need. We just need a huge group text that we just invite people to.
Well,
no, don't say it, because then I got to watch your green bubble all the time.
No, I wouldn't go in with the group text. Some of what goes on with a lot of the podcasting 2.0,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to throw out a term, and it's going to be a throwback term, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
IRC channel. Do you remember those days?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mark, anybody?
Yeah, what exactly is going on?
So we would be having this conversation as we are now.
Yeah.
And we would have our own IRC channel going that we could view, and the people who in theory would be listening to us live, which we haven't got to live yet. By the end of the year, I want to be live.
Okay.
I have to figure that out. But the idea is that we'd be having this conversation. We'd be streaming live.
Yeah.
People would be listening to us. Yeah. They would be in that IRC channel.
Okay.
And they could communicate with us in the show.
Yes.
They could totally just
communicating back with them.
Poke fun at us. You bunch of losers getting drunk.
It's like Twitch right now.
Yeah, pretty much. And so you have that, but you get that interaction with your listeners.
Right.
That makes the show hopefully more engaging for not only for them, but also for us.
Right.
We're talking about something. We're seeing them responding in near real time, and we're seeing that they're actually enjoying this, or they're going, that's boring. Would you move on already?
I mean, why are you just reading the website to me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that something like that would come with going live.
Mm-hmm.
But that again, it's just another way of kind of you're trying to build a community around your show and what you're doing.
Right.
And that's just one more level of interaction.
I'm just saying, we need that interaction.
Yeah.
I think we need actual interaction, and we got to do it in a way. I like the idea. I guess part of the reason that I like the idea of doing something where it is the people that it's not everyone from every whatever, and Bob, who nobody actually knows because he's somebody's friend who is somebody's friend who's somebody that
Bill Brasky.
Bill Brasky was a real son of a so, but it was that, like, it's the idea that when you've met somebody face to face, when you, like, especially if you limit it to the people that are in the same town as you, I could run into this guy.
Yeah.
I better watch what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like, lower the, take a little bit of that bass out of his voice. You know what I'm saying? Nope.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was funny to stumble over there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a thing. It's something worth thinking about and trying to, as we're all managing our, how much we're investing in technology one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta look at that. One of the things that I loved about AudioSigma is how little it asks of you to invest in order to get something that you really want or really could use.
Yes.
I wish more technology was that way.
Absolutely.
So we're thinking about. Anyway, we don't have any boosts, do we?
Actually, we do.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
What's up, Jason?
Yes, exactly. So he and I, and we kind of mentioned this too on a previous show, John.
Yeah.
The Albi apocalypse and kind of what that meant, and were we going to be able to get boost in or not, and what that means.
Right.
So he did a test boost.
Okay.
100 sats from Jason, and it just says test boost.
Hey, it worked.
It did work, yes. So that was good to see.
Thanks, Jason.
Yes, and then he followed up with one more.
Oh, okay.
555 sats. And his message is, sorry about the mystery beers. John, I didn't care for either of them either. But hey, you got to talk more about the beer.
Oh, my gosh.
So come to find out, he'd never had either of those himself either.
Hey, Jason, I don't know if you've been listening to this podcast, but can I recommend a Founders lager to you as payback?
Yes. So, I would agree with him. The oatmeal stout was better than the Solace.
Yeah.
The Solace was just rough.
Yeah.
But the oatmeal stout was definitely better of the two.
I mean, yeah, it was better, but like, holy cow. I mean, I don't know. I don't have words for it. It's like you are thinking that you're biting into a nice loaf of sourdough bread and it ends up being raisin bread or something.
There you go. Yeah.
Or,
you think you're going to drink a Dr. Pepper and it's sweet tea.
Gross. Oh.
Yeah. The brain recoils in horror.
Yuck. Anyway, thanks, Jason. I really appreciate you. Remind me to buy you a beer of my least favorite beer sometime.
Get that man an old Rasputin.
Yeah, but we definitely talked about that beer.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that.
Most mentioned beer on our podcast is a beer that we hate.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah. I do have one piece of gear to throw at you real quick.
Okay, throw it to me.
You may look at.
Yeah. I got my computer right here. I'm going to look it up.
Yes. The Presonus Quantum ES2.
Okay. Don't try to tell me what I'm going to write.
So be thinking Pod Mobile.
Yeah. I see the ES4. I see the ES2.
Yes.
Okay.
In particular for me, it's the ES2.
Okay.
USB-C interface.
Yeah. Which is, I was expecting this to catch on faster than it has with the audio interface world.
Yep.
I'm like, guys, if someone else puts a USB-B on one of these audio interfaces, I'm going to lose my mind.
I'm looking at you, Behringer.
Stop it.
Yep.
Guys, it's not funny anymore. I don't know if it was somebody's joke. Put it on there as a joke. It's going out like that.
Yep.
Stop it. Anyway,
so
go ahead.
I would put this essentially in the same range as the Pod Mobile, just because you can do two
Yep.
XLR mics. You
Right.
can leverage the USB-C.
Mm-hmm.
You've got your 1/4 inch out for your monitor. It doesn't have some of the DSP features of the Pod Mobile.
What's the auto? Is that like auto gaining?
Yes, when
Okay.
you would plug in your mic and you'd start talking and you would press auto, and it will auto adjust for you.
I mean, that's great. Don't get me wrong, but I would expect. I guess I shouldn't expect to get more for $200, but I would hope for more. And it's not just, honestly, I'm looking at this very quickly. It's not just two inputs. There is
You do have an instrument in.
You have
on
an
the front.
instrument in on the front.
Yes, that's correct.
Instead of it's not headphones on both of those.
Correct.
One of them is an instrument in. So I wonder if you can do 3 at a time, or if it's like you can do 2 at a time, but you can plug into the front if you really want to. I don't know. These are all questions that are rolling around in my head. So they've got the quantum audio interfaces. They have a 2, a 4,
an 8 HD. Then you go to HD.
Yeah, HD 2 and HD 8. Is that what I'm seeing?
I thought it was the 8 and 16.
Quantum. Yeah, HD 8 and HD. Oh, there's a 26 by 26.
Yeah, there's the HD.
Holy cow.
No, I guess it is. You're right. It was the HD2, and then it is the HD8. The 8 is the rack mount. But the 8 has the... where is it? It's on the back.
Sorry, I walked over to the Quantum 2626.
Oh.
Which is 26 in, 26 out. Just give me a minute.
Nice.
I gotta look over this thing real quick. Stop showing me the front. Okay. And it says 26 out. It's not actual hard line. Oh, okay. They're doing that with optical.
Where are you seeing the 26? Oh, there it is. I see it now. I see it. So that looks like that would go up against the is it the Claret Pre?
There's a few of them. I'm more interested in how they're getting that number right now. But anyway, PreSonus has a lot of gear that I would say is that. Can I say prosumer without it sounding condescending?
Yeah.
I cannot make this gear, so I always feel like, listen, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend anyone with the whatever. It's not like if I'm speccing out something that I really need it to be top of the line, you're just like, let's know who we are. PreSonus, Behringer, whatever else. They're not in the same conversation as Digico.
No.
But still really useful. And when you're looking at things like audio interfaces where you're like, I need this to be reliable, I feel like it does a great job. I think for $200, that's a great find. Good job.
And the one other bonus on this, if you use their Studio One DAW, you can control the interface directly from the DAW.
Oh, nice.
So there's some really nice integration. That they're kind of putting together there.
Yeah, the more these companies get on this understanding of if you're plugging it into a computer, it needs to be able to interface well. I'm all about it.
Yep.
Rode, looking at you.
You've got Rode Central, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're not trying to fix the problem. I'm saying you've got some great gear.
Mm-hmm.
Let's focus on the kinks.
Yeah.
Come on, Australia.
They're Aussies.
Which is surprising with Blackmagic because, the notorious hey, if you buy a Blackmagic piece of gear, you need to buy a fan. to go with it. You would expect a country that is, again, much like Texas, stereotyped as being in the desert.
Yep.
Like, what? Why in the world would you not have an air conditioner?
Yeah.
Running on this, air conditioner.
You
need to work on your cooling system.
Yes, their ventilation definitely leaves you wanting.
Did I tell you about that? We got a new, we bought a switcher for one of our rooms to replace. We had an old analog way that was awesome. Loved that thing, but it finally died. And we bought a Blackmagic piece of gear to replace it. And Chad's first question to me was, "Did you buy a fan?" And my answer to him was, "I bought 2."
I bought 2.
Can't have this thing going on. So there's an intake and an outtake. There's an intake and an exhaust.
Yeah.
On our little rack now because we've got a Blackmagic piece of gear running in it. If you know what we're talking about, let us know.
Yes.
If you don't know what we're talking about, you've never bought Blackmagic before.
That's true.
All right. That's all I got.
All right. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks for the free beer.
Yes. Thank you, David and Wayne.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you.
See you.
This is a beautiful pie, my friends. Look at this. Look at this. They're going to say, how many times is he going to say that? But really, look at this. I just said it again. Look at this. That gorgeous or what? I love my life. And a pound of saffron is like $2,000 or $3,000, and you can't even smoke the stuff. Hey, Mamma mia, look at it. Everybody thinks they're part of the olive. They have nothing to do with olive. The capers is a flower bud of the caper bush, which means if allowed to grow, it becomes a nice old white flower. You know, I always say, what were they smoking when they come up with the idea of capers? Hey, before it becomes a flower, let's take it, let's put it in the brine so we can eat it 3 months from now. They have to be smoking something strange to come up with that idea, right? Then you'll have too much. Yeah, if you put too much, you'll have too much. Well, I'm telling you, I'm glad you came to my channel, because I give you scientific facts. If you put too much, you'll have too much. Now, if you put too much, it'll be too thick. If it's too thick, no good either. I got a little camera in here. It's full of grease from the meat. Normally, I got a little camera, one of them Osmo packets, but we cooked it this morning. We forgot it. We put it in the oven. It's made by the company called Kraft. Every mistake you can make in the kitchen, I made them, okay? And some, okay? And sometimes more than one time. Sometimes I wonder. It all depends what is it I have in my coffee. Put the water in there, and that's all you did. Don't be out there putting some oil in the water, okay? You need like they'll shoot you if you do that. Talking about a whisk. Size matter. Mamma mia, look at this thing. And I turn my heat off. Well, how do you like that? Not a good idea. While you're cooking, do not turn the heat off. And I haven't drinking the thing. And then we're gonna make the braising container right here. Just checking to make sure it was hot enough. Now, for those of you that think my accent is a fake accent, it's not. Okay, I'm half French and half Italian. All right, but I'm 100% American. God bless America. God bless the rest of the world. We need some blessing.